You're listening to the Ordinary Joe's podcast with Joe D and Eric B. Ordinary Joe's podcast.
All right, after a few weeks hiatus, me and Joe is back. And this time we're discussing Marvel's latest movie, Thor Love and Disaster. Is it Love and Disaster? Oh, no, it's Love and Thunder.
Blunder.
Thunder. I call it Love and Disaster. That's just how I feel. Spoiler alert. If you guys haven't watched this, we're going to break down this movie. I mean...
Yeah.
All right, we're done. Movie's done. We're done. We're done talking about it.
That was fun, guys. See you next week.
Exactly. All right, Joe, man. It's been a while. Let's go ahead and get this started. I am Eric B.
I'm Joe, and we are the Ordinary Joes.
Still going, man. So give us another round of applause for that. We're still going with that. Man, Joe, again, another MCU movie that just came out, another MCU movie that I had high hopes for, and another MCU movie that was, I can't even find my, yeah, there you go. Yeah. So go ahead and tell me your thoughts, and go ahead and break down what you need to break down, and I'll tell you my story.
Yeah. Well, first off, what's up, Eric? What's up to all our viewers and listeners? Like Eric said, it's been a while. Busy July for both of us. Some birthdays passed. Happy belated birthday to Eric.
Thank you.
And so I was excited to come back, be in the chair. Bullshit with my guy. We haven't even had a chance to catch up on our personal lives either, let alone the pod. And then Thor happened. All right, let me start with what I did like about it first.
All right.
This is the fourth Thor movie in the MCU. He's the first character to have a fourth standalone movie, which is great, but unfortunately didn't stand up, in my opinion, to the rest. But we'll get to that. But what I did like about this movie was the villain.
Yes.
Right. Christian Bale plays what's his name? Gore, I believe is his name.
The God Butcher.
From what I understand, he doesn't look like the comic book character. They were afraid of him looking like Voldemort or some other character, so they changed him up. I didn't mind that. Christian Bale's great. The Gore character is this guy who basically decides he wants to kill all the gods because his daughter died and they didn't help him out, and so he just wants this revenge on them, and it was cool. Christian Bale's great. He looked great. His acting was amazing.
Yes.
But that's about where the pros of this movie end for me, because the rest, I'll start with this. As great as Gore was, as great as Christian Bale played him, it almost felt like he belonged in a different movie.
Yeah.
Right. Because everything else, and me and Eric haven't spoken about this yet. We both agree we didn't like this movie. We haven't spoken at all about it.
Yeah.
It was killing me because the whole time it was like they just kept trying to be funny and silly and cracking all these corny jokes. And then you had this real serious and dark and great character from Christian Bale. It just didn't go together. And I'm like, oh, what the hell is going on here?
Jesus.
But what are your initial takes on the movie?
I totally agree with you. I mean, Christian Bale in that movie, just, I would definitely love to see a Gore standalone movie on maybe showing us what he does, how he killed these gods. And I would love to see that, just because, the movie was Christian Bale's movie. I mean, it was Thor and, Love and Thunder. And the thing that kills me about that, the Love and Thunder didn't even come in till the very end of the movie, because his stepdaughter ended up taking the mantle of Thunder, right? Or whatever, or Love and Thunder. So
Love.
Love. So that, I was like, so this whole time we're thinking, it's going to be Jane Foster. That's going to be Love, right? It's the whole Love and Thunder thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they kept it comic book accurate pretty much. Jane, with the cancer, and the only way she survives is to get Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Am I saying right? Yeah. So that was pretty cool about that. But the little puns, the little funny jokes, it's like that one scene where Star-Lord's talking to his crew and he's like, all of us has to, you got to be in front of the people you love, and then Thor just sticks his head in and he's like leaning in. Yeah, I mean, those things was kind of funny, but then to talk about something as serious as cancer, a death of a child, to me, I was like, man, this is, I don't know. I mean, the MCU, I don't know. I mean, the MCU did keep it comic book accurate, which was cool. Right. The effects, the visual effects, I was like blown away. It was pretty cool. But just the plot was just killing me on everything. I was like, this is not. I understood why they were trying to be funny, because in Thor Ragnarok, Taika Waititi was the director, and he kept it funny, and that was different direction from what he did in the Thor 1 and 2. Yeah. So that's why the comedy in that one worked, but the comedy in this one was just like, this is not good comedy. I mean,
yeah, I think you got a little off track with like the character development almost, because it's like they're making Thor kind of like this buffoon, like dumb, silly. Like if you look at, the first Thor movie, the first two Thor movies, even forget Ragnarok, you look at those first two, you look at the acting, like how he acted as Thor, even though he was a little, bullheaded and didn't, acted like a god and things like that. But he was still a serious character who had funny moments. Yeah. Now it seems like he's just like a silly, I don't know, funny character. And it's just not, it's not working. Not when you, like you said, you have serious content, like, someone dying with cancer and like, shit like that. So that was driving me crazy. And the other thing too was like everything just seemed like too convenient, like the beginning scene where Gore, when he becomes Gore, right? His daughter dies. He prayed to the gods. They didn't save him. And then all of a sudden this, I don't know, utopia arrives and there's this god and there's like a dead body there. And the god happens to tell him that guy was going to kill him, but didn't, whatever. And his sword there is a sword that can kill gods. And it's like, why would you tell him that? Yeah. And then he tells him this right before he shits on him and, tells him like, whatever, like, screw you, you like immortal or whatever. Of course he picks up the sword and he kills him. Like, come on. Like that was just like the perfect setup, Yeah. The writing was a little weak in this movie.
I mean, even if you go off that, it's when they went to go visit Zeus and, they're talking to Zeus, they're doing all that thing with Zeus, and how the Valkyrie just kills him. Like she just takes the arrow, Zeus's arrow, and throws it right through him. Well, so supposedly we think he's dead, right? Till the end credits. But I'm like, God, was it just that easy to come into this country where it's all the gods, all the the big tribunal beings, and you go in there and you just take his arrow or his thunder and lightning, whatever, and you just throw it at him and he's supposedly dead. I mean, to me, that's like, God, what the hell, I those damn goats or whatever they were was annoying the hell out of me.
God, it wasn't even funny.
It was funny when it first came out.
Once, first bit.
But then after they just kept doing it, I'm like, dude, come on, stop with this, stop with it now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people didn't understand, like, why are the goats doing this? There's this video going out right on YouTube where there's a goat and then it's making that sound where it's like laughing or screaming.
Yeah.
So they decided to just throw this in the movie and just keep going with it over and over again. I'm just like, dude, come on, this is Killjoy already.
Yeah. They ruined every time there was like a good serious scene. They ruined it with a bad joke. Yeah. Like there's one scene where Thor is talking to these kids who he's trying to save. And he's what's the gatekeeper? Idris Elba's character's son. Heimdall's son was one of the kids and has like the
what did he want to change his name to? I forget what he wanted to change his name to.
Axel,
I
believe. Right. Yeah. And so he has the same power as his dad. So Thor kind of connects with him and he's talking to these kids and he's kind of explaining them what's going to go down and what they have to do to save them. And as he's talking to him, his not the hammer, the axe, like I forget the name, starts like tickling his nose, and he's like, doing, and I'm like, come on, this is like a serious part of the movie. Like, why are you? it was frustrating to watch.
And that's another thing. The whole thing he has with Stormbreaker versus Mjolnir. I can't even say the name.
Hammer.
Yeah, Hammer. That whole thing, that whole love-hate relationship he has with him. It's like, what's wrong? Come on, why are you acting like this? It's like, why are you being like this? And this is what kills me about the movie. And this is, I saw this on Twitter. I saw this everywhere after the movie. If Jane Foster was worthy and was able to put that hammer back together, and they all, assembled for her, why couldn't Thor do that in any of the movies after? Like the biggest fight of the world when we were fighting Thanos, he had to make a whole new axe just to, kill Thanos. But all he really had to do was go back to that thing and say he's worthy, and the hammer will go back together. I mean, that's what kills. When I read that, I was just like, fuck, you're right. Why? He is worthy. Why couldn't he do that?
Yeah, it made no sense. And there's a scene, the other scene too, where he gives the kids the power. Initially, I thought he gave him his power, but he actually gave them Zeus's power, because if you notice, the lightning is yellow, kind of Zeus's. Regardless of whose power it was, if he had the ability to give other people power, why didn't they do that in any of the other movies? And from I've heard, looking online and stuff, that I can't. What's the producer's name? I can't pronounce.
Tyler Waikiki or the director.
Him. He has a habit of just disregarding what's come before. And that's not good when it comes to the MCU, because MCU is known for having this really cohesive timeline of movies, regardless if they're a prequel or not. They all make sense. And this movie doesn't even feel like it's tied into the MCU at all. We had Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, and we had the Spider-Man movie. What was it?
No Way Home.
No Way Home, the most recent one. Yeah. You see the relation with those. You see how those are related to the Loki series and even Wanda. And it's like, this is just like, it's a one-off, its own thing, random. Like, it's like when you're a kid and just a random comic comes out that has nothing to do with the overall story arc. And it's like, this is what we waited for.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I mean, it would have been cool if they even threw Loki in there. Like, even at as an end credit where he sees Loki, then he's like, I thought you were dead, or something like that, right? And even throw that in there. It's like we watched Loki, the series. We know he's alive, or 2000 whatever Loki's alive. Thor thinks he's dead because, he's telling them like, I lost everyone in my family. But if they would have brought him back just a little bit, I mean, this is what I told you about when we watched, I forgot what movie was it, or Eternals. When we watched the Eternals, if they would have brought one major MCU character in there, I think it would have made the movie that much better. I think if they did the same thing with this, if they would have brought, you had the Guardians of the Galaxy in the beginning, but if they would have brought like Loki in here, even like as a subtle hint, like Loki's alive just in a different universe, I think that would have been like, that would have gave us like, oh, damn, he knows Loki's alive, Right.
Some sort of hint, some sort of connection to the rest of the story. Yeah. It just seems like such a wasted opportunity.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, this to me was just a standalone Thor movie that they decided to make that had nothing to do. I mean, they didn't even mention the blip. They didn't even mention anything like that. They just mentioned how, I think in the beginning when he was doing his montage, his workout montage, he did mention that he lost himself and he need to find his way back or something like that.
But I'm confused. Maybe you can help me out, because I it's been a while with so many movies. Didn't Thor already lose the weight? Like, wasn't he down and out in one of the other movies and come back, or no?
No. This was the first time we've seen him since Endgame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And in Endgame, he still had the dad bod, and he still had all that. And then this was his first movie trying to lose the weight. Well, he ends up losing the weight. But did you catch any of the Easter eggs? Like, Love was really his daughter in real life.
No, I saw that. I actually found that out afterwards. And then I guess everyone's kid was in this movie.
His son was in the montage where they're showing him running through the woods. The boy was his son. Love was his daughter. And who are the other kids that was also in there?
So I don't know exactly like which kid is played what part, but I know Jane Foster, Natalie Portman's daughter, I believe, plays one of the kids.
That's right. Yeah.
And Waikiki, I don't know his name.
Taika Waikiki.
I'll just call him Taika. I believe his son is one of the kids in the movie. And I'm assuming it's probably that scene with all the kids. That makes the most sense. But yeah, they're just, it's a family affair.
That's what happens when you're, I mean, that's probably why the movie didn't do so well, because they were so focused on like getting my kid on there. Like, hey, get my daughter in here. And I mean,
I even heard the shadow monsters in one of the scenes was made from a drawing from Taika's kid and Natalie Portman's kid. Like they just drew pictures and that was what they used. What it is.
So much for CGI and your famous Disney writers. We're just gonna have the kids do it. Yeah, and then Liam Hemsworth was back in it again, playing. Was he playing Thor?
He was. He played Thor in the play with Matt Damon again, which I appreciated. I actually love when Matt Damon does that. But
when they brought that back, I was like, yes, at least that was cool. But yeah, other than that, man, I mean, right now with the MCU where it is, watching everything on Disney Plus, I'm not sure where it's going. I'm kind of confused. I mean, before Disney Plus came out, and I was talking about this last night at a party, before Disney Plus came out, you actually knew where they were going. You gave us Captain America, you gave us, Iron Man. So you kind of knew there was this big buildup at the end of the movie, at the end of something. You knew that. You knew that, right? Here with the movies, the Disney Plus episodes, all this stuff, everyone knows it's going to end up breaking up into that secret war thing that's coming out in like 2024, 2025. But I just don't see it. I don't see the buildup. I don't see where it's going. It's kind of like I'm confused.
Yeah, I agree. I was funny. I was thinking back to, a couple of years back when we were doing the Endgame, pod around that time. We were talking about how excited we were for phase 4. And we were making all our predictions. We weren't sure if they were going to follow the comic at the time. We didn't know if Thor was going to become a girl. We didn't know if Captain America was going to be black. All these things we weren't sure if they were going to do, and they did. But it seems like with Disney, I don't know. It's almost like they're just putting it out there just to put it out there. Jeez. There doesn't seem to be any thought in it. Like I was excited when I saw the Loki series.
Yes.
It took me a while to watch, WandaVision.
Yeah.
You got me to watch it. I watched it. I liked it. I was hooked. Even the Hawkeye series, Falcon Winter Soldier. That was another one. Was kind of standoffish. Watched it and I liked it. And I said, okay, they have something here.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for them to do like they did all the other times before, where they start tying in the storylines and they all connect and start making sense. And I thought maybe when the movies start dropping, they'll do that. And no, like you said, it just kind of seems everything's up in the air right now.
Yeah.
I don't know where the hell they're going and how it's going to lead into another war.
I mean, they did a lot in Comic-Con. I don't know if you saw any of the leaks. They leaked the Wakanda Forever trailer, and it finally came out. They leaked the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. There was a lot of leaks in this Comic-Con, but all the leaks that I saw and read had nothing to do with what's going on in this. I think like Kang the Conqueror is supposed to be the new, like there's supposed to be this big villain, Kang the Conqueror coming out, and I forget the name of the movie that's coming out. It's like Kang War or something like that. Let me look this up. But yeah, that's supposed to be the next big thing that's coming out.
Right, and that was the feeling I got at the end of the Loki series. Was like, okay, they're setting him to be like the next Thanos, right? He's a super powerful guy, and he explains that everything at the end as to how he knew this was going to happen, and he knew, explaining what was next to come. You're like, all right, he's going to be the next bad guy, and then that was it. They just kind of left that whole storyline alone. And I don't know if they're going to come back to it in the next series of Loki. I don't know if they're going to do it in one of the next movies, but right now I'm kind of bummed. It's
going to be called Avengers Kang Dynasty. So I don't know if that's going to be the first, because it's going to be the Kang Dynasty and Avengers, and then Secret Wars right after that. Mm-hmm. So all I know from what I know from all the things that I read, Secret Wars is going to be a big fight. It's going to be like Civil War, where certain people, they're trying to save their universe. Like what we watch in Doctor Strange, how he caused a collusion. So, certain parts of the universe is going to die. So I think in Secret Wars, it's going to be, Earth 626 versus Earth 828, whatever. And like, hey, my world is dying. I have to save it. Like, no, fuck your world. My world is. So I think that's what Secret Wars is about. And I think this all has to do with Kang. And Kang's the one that did this. So they're going to have to figure this out. I mean, again, I'm confused. I mean, like in that last phase that we just had, we all knew Thanos was the bad guy. We all knew Thanos was the one that they all had to defeat. We all stood there wondering, God, who can defeat Thanos on his own? We're all like Captain America and Thor are probably the only one that can beat him. We knew that going into Infinity War. Yeah. This is going to be the first time that we saw all the MCU characters together fighting. But in this one right here, I'm confused.
Yeah. I've said it before in other episodes. Hulk is my favorite, and because of that is probably why Ragnarok is probably my favorite MCU movie. But Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Thor. Those three. And now I have no desire to see Thor again, even in at least not for a while, because I feel like if they're going to continue to kind of make him just be a comedy act, and not intertwine him into the rest of the story. I mean, they had such a good opportunity again with Guardians of the Galaxy. That was a great way to connect them, because we know that movie's coming next. We know that's supposed to be tied into the whole story. And it was just like they were just in and out. It was kind of like, here you go, Thor, we gotta go, or you gotta go, and boom. And what I did see was that the creator or the director of what do you call it? Just Guardians of the Galaxy.
Peter Gunn?
Yes, he actually, all the scenes with Guardians he was involved in. He wrote all those scenes. So he probably read the script and was like, what the hell are you guys doing? You're not messing up my thing.
Exactly.
So let me do it. You're only getting about 5 minutes of us.
And that's
then you can fuck up your own movies because like, geez. Like,
I mean, no, he's right. I mean, he's right. I mean, it's like, I think the best part about that movie was that beginning scene when they did have the Guardians in there. And but then at the same time, here you have Thor, this like arrogant guy who's like, you guys can't win a war without me, and he comes in and he fucks everything up and destroys those guys' castle, and the guy's even telling him, oh, that's the only thing that we have left, that's where we meditate, that's where all that, and then he kills it and breaks it, and he's like, what? I did you guys a favor, I destroyed them. It's like, oh, come on, man, why are you even doing that? I'm trying to see the timeline here with what's coming out. I know we have a lot of cool things coming out on Disney Plus. They just announced that Daredevil's finally coming back on Disney Plus, which to me is going to be something good, something cool that I can't wait to see. So what? She-Hulk's coming out August 17th. That's in a couple weeks. I Am Groot's coming out August 10th. I don't know about that. I didn't even know that was coming out.
That's going to be a series or a movie?
It has to be a series, because no one's going to spend money to go watch I Am Groot. That's kind of like we're going to spend all this money to watch the Minions, right? Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, November of this year. Then they're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which it's probably going to be on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And then the first movie that we're going to actually... My thing is, this is what I think. Okay, the first time we're actually going to see Kang in the movie is going to be February 17th, 2023 in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Yeah.
Everything you just read bothers me, and I'll tell you why. It feels like Disney's doing what Disney does, and it's milking.
Mm-hmm.
It's milking the Marvel characters for everything that's worth. It's like all these kind of series. Now that I think about it, with what's happened now, like when you think about Moon Knight and some of the other things, and some of these new characters, it just feels like they don't care about the overall story. Yeah. They just want to see how much money we can make out of each character, you know? And then, you know, I always loved how inclusive they are as far as, you know, adding different, you know, cultures and different colors of people and things like that. That's great. But it almost seems kind of like they're pandering a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, here you go. Here are your female superheroes. Here are your gay superheroes. Here you're, you know, and it doesn't seem genuine. It's not like it's just written in and that's part of the story and that's the character. No, it's like they're really making it like a big deal for you to see. Like, look, like, you know, and it's, I don't know. I think now I'm not going to have my hopes up so much when I see things, and I'm just going to because I really, really can't wait to see Wakanda Forever.
Yeah. That's a movie that's a movie that I'm going to watch on the Thursday when it releases, because you know you're going to see a lot of spoilers, you know. So I want to be there, and I want to be the one spoiling it for everyone before it spoils for me. But you know, everything after that, you know, looking at this timeline looks pretty good. You got Guardians of the Galaxy coming out May 2023. Then you got Echo and Loki coming out. The Marvels is coming out. I don't know if that's going to be a movie or a Disney Plus episode. I don't know if you watch Miss Marvel, but that has something to do with it. Blade is coming out 2023. Ironheart, who's going to be introduced in Wakanda Forever, is coming out in May. Then you get the animated series of X-Men 97 coming out. Agatha, the girl from WandaVision's coming out. The witch from WandaVision, she's coming out. That has nothing to do with this. But I can't wait for Captain America: New World Order. That's going to be Anthony Mackie playing the throne. And then Thunderbolts, to me, is going to be interesting, because Thunderbolts are all the bad guys.
Interesting.
The villains, you know, like that guy who played the bad Captain America in what is that? Captain America. You know who I'm talking about. Wyatt Russell. Wyatt Russell. Yeah. Right. So the Thunderbolts is coming out in 2024. Then right after that, this is what the first movie that I can't wait for is November 8th, 2024 is Fantastic Four.
Okay.
So I can't wait for that. And then you get the Spider-Man, and then 2025 we get the Avengers Kang Dynasty, then Avengers Secret Wars. And then they got X-Men, Deadpool, Armor Wars, and Marvel Zombies, all to be announced after 2025.
Yeah, see, that seems really all over the place to me.
Yeah.
Like it feels like some of those would go together, and then some of them just feel like just one-offs. Like, hey, you know what? And you know what? If that's what they want to do, if they just want to go through the bin of Marvel characters and just start making shows and things for that, that's fine. But at least kind of still respect the main, franchise that started everything that people have come to love. Like, take that seriously at least, and then you can capitalize on the other characters. We don't care, but it's been done so well that at this point, I don't know if they're living up to the rest of the MCU phases. Like, I hear people call it phase bore instead of phase 4.
It is phase bore. Well, I don't even know what phase what I just read you is. I don't even know. It does end with Thor Love and Thunder. So it looks like we're not going to get anything till Wakanda, which is coming out, at the end of the year. And then again, She-Hulk, that's going to be a hit or miss for me,
Same.
And that timeline that supposedly happened right after Endgame, because they show Hulk still in his arm still in a sling. So supposedly that happens right after Endgame. So I am Groot. I'm gonna watch just to watch, but I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, You're gonna watch the whole thing with him just going, I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. It's like, come on. And then the Guardians Holiday Special. Come on, man. Why do you guys even need to do that? I
don't understand why, especially if they're coming out with another Guardians movie. they're milking it, man.
Yeah,
that's what
it's
starting to feel like. And Disney's great in other respects, but I'm starting to feel like they're kind of doing their Disney thing with Marvel, and it's
I got a funny story to tell you, man, but has nothing to do with the movies. So we recently just went to Disneyland, right? And with them abolishing their passes, nobody can buy a pass for a while, right? So you have to buy the 1-day ticket, right? So we bought a 1-day ticket with a 1-day hopper. And we have a Genie Plus. Well, Genie Plus means you can skip the lines with whatever, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So I read up all the stuff that I needed to read before we got there. So Genie Plus kind of works the way the Fast Pass used to work. You can get on a ride, and you can pick a ride every 2 hours. So as soon as we get to the park, we're waiting for rope drop. We're in the park. We're rushing over to the Star Wars line, right? Because that's the first thing everyone wants to get to, the Rise of the Resistance. Then I'm looking at my Disney Plus app while I'm waiting in line. I'm like, why can't I get a Fast Pass for this ride? And then I saw, you can get a Lightning Pass. I said, what's a Lightning Pass? I click Lightning Pass. I look at it, and they're charging you $17 a person if you want to get a Lightning Pass. And I'm like, wait. I just spent how much money on a Genie Pass? Now you want me to spend money on a Lightning Pass?
Yep.
And I started thinking, fuck, Disney? You are finding ways to milk everybody.
Yep. My wife, as you know, she's a big Disney fan, and so she watches a lot of these vloggers. And I saw that, and one thing they say is like, if your first time using it and you know nothing about it, it could be confusing.
Yes, it was.
You always do your research before you do stuff, so I'm sure you kind of already knew what to expect. But I hear a lot of that, of where people are like, I'm spending all this money for, my family of 5, and I still have to wait 2 hours before I could get on another line, and then I have to pay for the rides that pretty much we came here for, like all the big rides. If you want to skip, you got to pay. So it's like, geez, like, can you give us a break?
That's exactly. There was a point where I almost broke because, we bought the Hopper Pass. So the stupid thing about the Hopper Pass, and I apologize for you guys, we'll get back to Thor in a minute. But the bad thing about the Hopper Pass is you have to wait till after 1 o'clock before you can go over to the other park, right? Not like before, you can just hop whenever you want. So 1 o'clock comes, we go over to the other park. There's this new ride called Web Slingers. And I said, you know what? We're here. I'm not sure when we're going to come back. Let's get on this ride. The line was 85 minutes long. No fast passes, of course, right? No Genie Pass, but there was a Lightning Pass. And for some reason, the Lightning Pass for this line was $11 versus $17 at Star Wars. And I actually really thought about getting the Lightning Pass just because I didn't want to wait in that line. And I'm like, see, this is where Disney gets you. They know that this line is so long that someone like me will get so frustrated and be like, then I looked at the Lightning Pass line. I was like, is this the regular line? The guy goes, no, this is the Lightning Pass. I'm like, and I went like this. How long is this line? He goes, from here, you're looking at about a 20-minute wait. So I was like, okay, 80 minutes over the regular line, 20 minutes over here. I go, so what am I really paying for? So we just ended up waiting in the 80-minute line.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't think I'm going to Disneyland anytime soon.
Well, I'm going to do a podcast on my podcast and I'm going to talk about, the whole Disney things and when I think you guys should go. And I think the best time to go, and this works for you and your wife perfectly, go during a weekday. Go during a weekday. School's about to start soon. When school starts again, go during a weekday when all the kids in Anaheim and is going to be back in school. The only kids you'll see are the little kids and maybe the kids that are like from Europe that doesn't have school.
Right. Yeah.
But all the American kids should be in school. They should be in school. So I would suggest go. Yeah. I'll put a podcast out with that because man, that was a frustrating experience. But at the same time, me and Disney, you know, I'm going to go and I'm going to pay the money. I'm a sucker. We were talking about this last night. Again, we had a party last night and one of the ladies that works that was there at the party, she's a director and a writer for The Simpsons. Nice. So, and she's a family friend. So I was like, getting her, then someone goes, hey, Eric, why don't you have her on your podcast? I was like, oh shit. I never asked you, right? She's like, I've been waiting. She gave me this look like, I've been waiting. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's hilarious.
She goes, I just looked up your podcast right now and you're at 100 and something podcasts and you never asked me to be in one of those.
That's so,
like,
and that's like prime content right there.
Like,
I mean, she's probably got like the best stories.
Well, no, it's funny because she did say that she's directing 2 episodes coming up, so that's kind of a good way to plug the 2 episodes. Then I just asked her, like, hey, can I talk to you about like how you feel about the merger from Disney to Fox? They're like, we hate it. I'm like, really?
Really?
She's like, we hate it. We don't like the merger because we don't get the Disney perks that Disney people have. We don't even have a season pass the way other way Disney people have. I'm like, you don't?
Oh man, that's messed up.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's the business. It is. It's the business.
But still, you would expect some perks to come along. I mean, that they didn't work that out for them.
They do.
Bet her bosses probably have tickets.
Yeah, and it's funny because again, off topic. She said, when they first bought Fox, they had this big Simpsons party, and she's a creator and a director for Simpsons, right? She's written a couple of the episodes, and she goes, when they had this party, we all knew, everyone in the office knew they were going to have this party, and then we're all like, hey, are you going to the party on Friday? And they're like, I never got an invitation. So the whole Simpsons staff, probably everybody, an exception to the creators. Didn't get an invitation. It was a Disney only party for the Simpsons.
Tell you, man, Disney's a cold-hearted machine. Just sees dollar signs. That's and capitalizes on our heartstrings. But like you said, I'm still gonna go back.
That's the thing. Like they're like, see, that's, and they were like ripping on me. They're like, that's why you can't go to Disney. That's why you shouldn't do Disney. That's why. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But knowing me, next year on July 23rd, when I turn 51, I'm gonna go back to Disney. They're like, what? I'm like,
yep.
I said, hey, you rather me go to that red state in Florida and spend Disney World money when that's a Republican state versus our California state? They're like, yeah, you're right.
No, it's true. And I mean, it just kind of segue back to Thor. It's kind of like, I'm going to end up watching all these shows. As much as I'm disappointed right now, as much as, I'm kind of confused as to where they're going. Disney knows we love these characters. God. We love our comic books. Yeah. And we're going to come back to watch it. And we're going to spend the money to go see the movie and probably be annoyed about it again. And then but all right, next time it's going to be better,
I mean, it does suck because, literally, I this is one of the movies Thor I did, me and my Marvel movies. I usually watch it on a Thursday. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it on a Thursday because I don't want spoiler alerts. But this is a movie that I said, okay, I'll wait till Saturday to watch it because I don't think there was going to be a lot. There was no big reveal that we were all expecting. Like in Spider-Man and in Doctor Strange, we were all expecting a big reveal, which we didn't get. Well, Spider-Man, we did get the reveal, but in Doctor Strange, we didn't get that reveal that we all wanted. Tom Cruise. And this one, I was like, okay, there's not going to be a big reveal. So, I mean, what are they going to, they're going to show like, the Guardians and whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'll wait till Saturday to watch it. It was an empty theater when we got there on Saturday. I'm like, wow, this came out on Thursday. I was like, Thursday, Friday, we're watching prime time, like at 2 p.m. on a Saturday, and there's nobody here.
Wow.
I'm like, no, literally, like we had the whole back row to ourselves.
That's strange.
I'm like, okay, all right. I was like, hey, buffer zone, scoot over. Like get over to the next chair. The movie theater we go to in San Fran, the arms can go up. So if you want to just like turn sideways and put your feet up, you can do that. Yeah. Now. So yeah, I'm like, yeah.
I watched this one YouTuber. I'm not going to say his name, but he made a point. And he also makes movies. And he made this point where he said he noticed something in the trailer. Well, I guess the first trailer for this movie. And he said, usually the verbiage, like these movie companies really put a lot of thought into what they say in trailers, right? Mm-hmm. They do tests, they do all this stuff to find out what triggers, what works, what doesn't, what'll get people going, And the tagline in the trailer said, "Not every god has a plan."
Yeah.
And he said he found that strange. And like now when it comes out, it makes all the sense in the world. Like this movie had no plan. It had no direction. Yeah. It had no purpose in the overall storyline. I really don't know what the hell they were doing, what they were thinking. Because it kind of just leaves us like, but like, how do you,
what's gonna happen? Yeah.
how do you tie this in now? You know, like moving forward with these next movies, you know, do we bring Thor back in, or is that it? Are we done with him? You know, are we going to hop just with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, and hopefully they can save the rest of this phase? I don't know.
Well, they have to kill him somehow. That's the only way to get rid of him, or unless Valkyrie dies and they need a real king to, you know, to watch New Asgard. But how are they going to get rid of him? It's like, you know,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's one of the main MCU characters. Right?
Yeah. That's what I mean. I don't know. I'm guessing maybe Loki would probably be the only way we can maybe bring him back and tie it into the rest to make it make sense. Yeah. But it just sucks. It just sucks when, you know, not like these movies come out, you know, every few months. We have to wait a while before the next full length feature. And we get the series, which are some are good, some are bad. And that kind of holds us over. But when you wait so long for a movie that you really want to see and it disappoints in this magnitude, it really just like, it deflates me. Like, I'm like, I'm not.
Me and you both. It's kind of like, oh, dude, what were you guys thinking? You know? Yeah. I mean, one of the positive things was the soundtrack to me was pretty good. You know?
Yeah.
That's something Thor has done in the past. That's still good with this one. Actually, only Ragnarok and this one had good soundtracks, because the other two was. You know, you had that, was it Danny Elfman who probably directed that soundtrack, where you have the, you know, the God themes or whatever. But this soundtrack was pretty good. I like the soundtrack. You know, it did get you hype a little bit, but as far as the movie plot, I mean, again, you know, I'm going to be repetitive, where besides, you know, Jane getting the hammer and all this stuff, I didn't know where this movie was going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then it was kind of weird too, to see like they kind of did this like a flashback of Thor's life together with hers, and like he whispers into Mjolnir's ear to tell us to protect Jane, and it's kind of like, see, like when you have to like go back and just make up stuff for this to make sense, that should have been a sign of like, all right, we're probably going in the wrong direction with this movie.
I mean, it was good. It was a good way to let us find out why Mjolnir, you know, reached out to her. The thing that killed me in the movie was the end scene where Thor's fighting Gore up in wherever they were fighting, and Thor tells Jane, "Hey, stay here. You touch that hammer one more time, you're gonna die." What you just said about he whispered in Mjolnir's ear, saying, "You know, take care of Jane." Couldn't they have done that and said like, "Don't, you know, stay away from Jane," or something like that? You know, because he knew in the back of his head, Jane's gonna come. Jane doesn't care. And then Jane does come, and what happens? Jane dies. And then that whole end credit scene where they show her in Valhalla, and, you know, Heimdall's there.
Yeah.
So it creates this whole new opening. Like, okay, who else is there? Are we going to see the original Loki, the Loki that we know? Is he going to be there? You know, because he died in battle, right? He died with Heimdall on that ship with Thanos. So are we going to see him there? Are we going to see, who else are we going to see there? Who is worthy enough? Are we going to see, what's their dad's name? Odin. Yeah. Are we going to see Odin there? You know, it's like, who else are we going to see over here?
Yeah, exactly. Like, now, let me ask you this. Do you think, being with that, they're playing with the multiverse of madness and time, space, and all that stuff, do you think there's a chance maybe down the line we might get surprised with some of the original characters?
Yeah.
You know, like for the war, will they bring back the original Captain America or Iron Man, if maybe he's in Valhalla? Who knows? I mean, I don't know anymore. But do you think there's a chance we might get surprised with some of the OGs? You
know, it's funny. We talked about this last night, and I'll tell you exactly what I said. As a fan, yes, I would love to see Iron Man, you know, Robert Downey Jr. I would love to see them back. You know, you'd love to see a version of Black Widow back on the screen, because we still haven't seen that version of her. You're like, from now, she's still dead. I would love to see that. But this MCU, the way they're doing things right now, they're building up these new characters that nobody's in love with. Nobody really likes. You know, besides Loki, I'm still not sold on Anthony Mackie's, you know, Captain America.
Captain America. Yeah.
Bucky to me is still one of the guys. We lost T'Challa, so we're not going to see Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther.
Right.
I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I don't think they. I mean, if they did bring them back, it's going to be for brief, like maybe when Ant-Man and the Wasp is going through the Quantumania. Maybe they stop by 2012 Battle of New York, and then we'll see them there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But as far as being one of the main protagonists, one of the main characters, one of the main guys fighting against these new guys, I don't think we're going to see them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I keep the hopes up, but I think, like you just said, if we do see them, it'll be on some sort of maybe flashback or move through time, and it may not even be a return, and just maybe clips of the old movies.
Yeah.
But
it's funny. I'm looking at this list that I just ran down with you, right? I'm talking about everyone that's coming out. And I told you I'm excited for Fantastic Four and all that. I don't see the Eternals in here.
Thank God.
This goes all the way to 2025, and I don't see the Eternals in there. I'm wondering if they just got rid of them and let's just pretend they never really happened.
Yeah, I think so, because at least up to this point, I feel like out of everything that they've done, that's kind of been the one universal hated piece of work. I have yet to find someone who actually liked that movie.
Yeah.
And that was so rough to get through. I can't even I've erased it from my brain. I couldn't even tell you.
I paid for it. Jesus, I paid for it. Should have just waited for Disney Plus. And it's sad because it's like that was the first big movie after Endgame.
Yeah.
Right? That was the first big movie. So everybody's like, okay, this is the first big movie after Endgame. We have to watch it. There's going to be some tie-ins to whatever. And nothing. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah. I don't know. Moving forward, man, I still have hope for Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
And aside from that, like I said, I think I'm just going to take them as they come. Fingers crossed. I'm still going to go into it open mind. I'm not going to be negative. But this movie was a tough one. It took a lot out of me.
It was I mean, you know what? If it wasn't for the popcorn and being that it was a Marvel movie, and it's funny because I wanted the movie to be over, and all I really wanted at this point, because once you're an hour into it, you're like, okay, I'm done. I literally checked out after a while, and all I kept waiting for was, okay, what's the end credit scene? What's going to tie into this end credits? And I was like, oh, it has nothing to do with what's going on in the MCU. Because usually it's
just nothing.
Yeah, usually it's a teaser of what's going on in the MCU. Usually it'll show us like, oh, this is going to happen. And we're like, yes. Yeah. This was just like, okay, Jesus Valhalla. Was there two end credit scenes?
There was the return of Zeus. We find out that he didn't die. Yeah. And he tells his son Hercules, I want you to get revenge. And so now maybe we'll get a Hercules movie 10 years from now.
Yeah, I don't see it on here. I don't see it on here when they posted this. So they could sneak it in somewhere and then, it's.
But that's not that sounds like a weird kind of arc to start at this point, which is another reason why I feel like maybe they just don't have direction right now, and they're just going to try to milk it for what it's worth and get as much as they can out of these characters, which sucks. But listen, that's Disney.
Did you see the trailer for Wakanda Forever? Did you see that trailer yet?
I have not. No, okay. I did see that there was a trailer, but I didn't watch it yet. No. All right. How's it look?
Oh my God. It's gonna, when we jumped on when you jumped on the Zoom call, I was listening to that version of No Woman, No Cry. That was the song that was playing in the background of the trailer. And
nice.
I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm going to let you watch it. But let me ask you this, and this, again, this ties in with the MCU. Mm-hmm. We all know T'Challa's dead. We know he's, real life, he's dead. And in the trailer, they do a really good homage to him.
Cool.
Who do you think, and who would you like to see play Black Panther?
Right off the top of my head, I would like to see. First person that comes to mind is Michael B. Jordan's character.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan himself great actor. I like the guy. I like how we got to see a good side or good part of his character that he played towards the end. But knowing what Disney's been doing lately, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like his sister.
Yeah.
You know, if they made Black Panther female and his sister took the reins, because that kind of seems like, again, I'm not saying that, you know, that would be a bad thing, but it just really seems like Disney's trying to push that, you know, initiative of like, hey, we're including everyone. That's cool. But though I would say between those two characters, though, probably who I think would make sense anyway.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned earlier how Disney likes to throw things in trailers and tease, you know, show us something that they want us to see. And I'll tell you this one part of the trailer, the very end of the trailer, before it goes to the Wakanda Forever, they show the Black Panther do the hand thing and the claws come out. It's a black suit with gold trim. So everyone right away thinks, oh shit, it's Killmonger. Because that's the suit he wore, was black and gold, right? So that's the first thing I said was, it's going to be Killmonger. Yeah. I'm like you. I wouldn't mind them putting back Michael B. Jordan on there as a good person, as a good thing. But you're right. Yeah. Shuri's next in line. She's most likely going to be the next Black Panther. She's most likely going to get the whole, you know, the heart of whatever. She's going to get all that. But I wouldn't mind seeing Michael B. Jordan on there. You know, and even if they go that route and she does become Black Panther, I still would like to see Killmonger in the movie. Yeah. I think, you know, he did really well in the last movie, and not having, you know, the original T'Challa and, you know, losing such a great person, great actor, you know, those are big shoes to fill. Yeah. And not to say that Michael B. Jordan can, but it's a familiar face. It's someone that we like. It's someone who's part of the franchise. So, I mean, when he came in as Killmonger, everyone wanted him to be a good guy because they liked him so much, right? They're like, oh man, why did he have to be him? I mean, he played a good bad guy. I mean, like, you know, I loved him as Killmonger. But if we reach into the comic book lore, this is all the research that I've done, or the YouTube that I've watched, whatever you call it. Shuri does take the mantle. Shuri dies. And the Queen, which is Angela Bassett's, her character, she finds a way. Like, technically, Killmonger's not dead because she's keeping him alive. And she's letting his, like, because you know how they die and they go to that ancestors plane, right? Right. She reaches out to him there and says, I will bring you back alive under one condition. And then that condition is you have to serve Wakanda and not you. Nice. So from what I read, that's a possibility. It's a stretch. Right. It's a stretch. Because, you know, the lady that plays Shuri, she's this whole anti-vax thing, right? She doesn't want to get vaccinated. They're like, like a lot of the scenes that they shot with her during this, she was a pain in the ass, is what pretty much everyone said. So a lot of the scenes that she shot, they had to make sure it was like a quick scene. I mean, you know, movie magic, all this stuff they're going to do. But they said moving forward, if she still doesn't get vaccinated, they don't know what to do with her character. So
they may kill her off and go the comic route. Yeah. I mean, they've been pretty good about following pretty close to the comic. Yeah. The only thing that, if they were that whole scenario that you just spoke about in the comics, the only question that I would have and how they would have to figure out a way around it is, if she can bring Killmonger back, why can't she bring T'Challa back? So they would have to probably explain that away. Would have to be some reason for that to make sense. Well, and if they could figure that out, I mean,
well, I think to pay respect to Chadwick Boseman, I think they kill him off the real way. And I think they actually say he, you know, I mean, this is just speculation, but I think they actually say like he died of cancer. You know, like they're not going to make anything up. They're not going to say like he died in battle. They're not going to say anything like that. They're going to probably start the movie off with like, you know, since this battle, he developed cancer, and then, you know, he slowly diminished and passed away. I think that's the more respectful way than actually saying like, you know, he died in the hands of whatever. You know, I think just telling, you know, because he did die of cancer, and to show the respect to him and his family, like, hey, we're going to pay him homage, give him some respect, and actually tell him how he really died. I think that's a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
So that's probably
definitely
why they won't be able to bring him back, because he died of natural causes and not of, battle.
Gotcha.
Battle. But,
yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll take it. And that's going to be, man, that's going to be a rough watch. That's going to be real emotional, because it's not only, a character that died. It's a real person that we've known and loved, very talented person, really good person. You hear all the stories about Chadwick Boseman after the fact, unfortunately, about all the great things he did and all the nice things he did for people. So that's going to be, emotionally, it's going to be a tough movie to watch, but still looking forward to seeing it though.
Yeah. Watch the trailer. Tell me what you think about the trailer. I mean, the trailer, I watched it like, I don't know, 10 times already. And the first 3 times I watched it, emotional watch, I was doing all that stuff. But then the last 7 times I watched it was more, because, they introduced Namor, the Aquaman of the DC, MCU, right?
Gotcha.
They introduce him. So I'm last 7 times I'm looking for Easter eggs and details and like what this tie in. So I'm hoping when this comes out at the end of the year, because this is going to be the next big movie coming out.
Okay.
I'm hoping, you know what? This is going to be a movie where if it doesn't tie into the MCU and it doesn't tie into another character, I'm going to give this one a pass, just because this is a Chadwick Boseman. To me, this is paying homage to Chadwick Boseman. And
absolutely.
I can't wait. Someone said that don't be surprised if the end credits or the post credits, end credits has nothing to do with the MCU, but just a little homage to Chadwick Boseman's life, like him, like behind the scenes playing T'Challa, or behind the scenes, doing all that. Don't be surprised if that happens. So
I would be. I think that would be actually pretty cool. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said. It's like this one to me is not going to be. It's not going to be another Thor where I'm going to be sitting there halfway through the movie, like, dude, what's going on?
Yeah.
Where
seriously. And back, to get back to Thor, the way it ends, like you said, Thor Love and Thunder, we don't find out what Love and Thunder is till the end of the movie. And I really hope that they don't plan on stretching this out. Like, I'm not excited to see another Love and Thunder movie. And from what I understand, there are comics of him and his daughter Love, and that's, I'm not interested.
I was going to ask you that too. I was going to ask you, was there comic book versions of him and his stepdaughter, whatever?
Yeah, there are. And so that's why I'm like, I hope they don't plan on doing that. And if they do, at the very least, tie it into the rest of what's going on. But if they're just going to continue to do just random, and that goes for all the characters, even the new ones, if you're just going to do random one-offs, then, I mean, we can kind of then just forget about the whole MCU and just call it a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, maybe she can tie into the Young Avengers, right? I mean, they're coming out with the Young Avengers. I mean, I don't see it on this list, but I know it's out there in the verse, in the MCU verse. I know it's out there, and them introducing a young Heimdall, Hawkeye, the new Hawkeye, all these young characters. Maybe.
Are Wanda's kids part of that?
After Doctor Strange, I don't know. It's like you don't know where they are, right? It's like we know they're there, but in the universe that we're watching, they're not there. So
they're not really.
But in the Young Avengers, Billy and I forget the other guy's name, Billy and Bobby or whatever their names are. They're hillbillies, Billy and Bobby. I'm
pretty sure you just named Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah, exactly. You got some guy going like, what? Poison? Poison's out? That one OG that sits there all night. Then when they hear that song, they're like, "That's my jam."
That is the jam. No, that's me. I'm that guy. When
I'm that guy. I sit on the chair all day until someone says, "Hey, we're gonna play Poison." I'm like, all right, let me get my Running Man shoes on. So that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna play the Running Man all night. But no, this movie. I mean, again, I tell everybody. I'll ask people, did you watch Thor Love and Thunder? They'll say no. I'll say wait for it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Just because this is, and back then when we used to not like movies, we used to say Netflix because we would wait for it on Netflix. Now it's like, hey, wait for it on Disney Plus.
Seriously, don't waste your money. I mean, it's not. I really wish I could say we're nitpicking. I mean, it's not the worst movie I've seen.
No,
but it's not the greatest. Like, yeah, wait for it to come out.
I mean, I tied this in with Thor 2 or whatever that one with Thor, the second one with Thor. And what sucks about that is Natalie Portman's in it again. Mm-hmm. So Thor 1, Thor 2, Thor 4, Natalie Portman's in all these movies and they all bombed. So I don't know if Natalie Portman's the person. Is that, maybe she just stick to Star Wars and, Maybe,
yeah. I don't know. But she needs to leave Marvel alone, especially Thor. Because, I mean, and even the first two, they don't compare to the third one, but they still weren't even as close as bad as this one, though.
Oh, my God.
At least they were serious. At least the story made sense. There were some things that, like, all right, could have did without, but this one was just, man, it's like yelling goats how many times did we see that? It was like,
dude.
I'm like, what is he, Santa Claus, that he's like on a sleigh with screaming goats? Like, it was just a mess.
Yeah, it was terrible. And you know what's sad is I actually read that that's not going to happen because I don't think people's going to watch it. But what if they did decide to do a Jane Foster solo that's going to be a miniseries on Disney Plus?
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. I mean, in the capacity that she was in this movie, it worked. Like, I actually didn't necessarily hate her character. The way she was fighting the cancer and then, became Thor. Like, that was all right. That didn't bother me. But I don't know that she could carry a whole movie as that character by herself. No, I don't think it wouldn't be interesting enough. No.
I mean, if it did do it, I mean, I can see it as a Disney Plus episode just because I'll wait till the 6 episodes and then binge watch the whole thing just because I'm not going to sit there every week and find out what's going on if it did happen. But yeah, you're right. I can't, I mean, I can't see that.
Yeah.
I can't see that. But again, guys, if you guys are watching us on YouTube or listening to us on the podcast, take our advice or don't take our advice. Tell us what you think. Did you guys like the movie? Did you guys think the movie was worthy? Because it wasn't worthy. It wasn't worthy. Again, if it wasn't for the popcorn and the post-credit scenes, I would have been like, dude.
Yeah.
This is me throughout the whole movie. I'm not kidding. This is me throughout the whole movie. Damn it. 10 minutes later. Damn it, that was only 10 minutes.
Me after every joke, I'm looking around like, really? Is this what we're doing? Every failed joke.
Yeah. No, well, see, luckily for us, like I said, we were the only ones in the theater. There was probably I would say like 7 people in the theater. And, you have that one group all the way in the bottom who wants to sit in the front row for some reason. And they're sitting there. And I'm like, what's so funny? That must be an Asgardian joke because I don't get it.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
That was over my head.
Yeah, but no, this is, our honest review. This is what we thought about the movie. This is how we felt. And again, we are not professionals. We're not Siskel and Ebert. So don't take this any way whatsoever. But this is how we felt about the movie. And we've watched enough movies, we've watched enough Marvel movies to where we can say this was good, this was bad. And again, it's hardly me and Joe ever agrees on something. And we both agree this movie sucks. And if we both agree it sucks, then guess what, guys? It sucks.
It sucked. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't talk about this beforehand. We really did find out what each other thought about this just an hour ago when we started. So
this is the reason why we didn't podcast last week, because we're trying so hard to prolong this because we want to relive the whole movie in our heads again. So
yeah.
We did this for you guys.
Yes.
For you guys. Now we're going to go on bitter all day. Like, damn it.
We did it so you don't have to.
Damn it. Damn it. Go watch it.
Save you a couple bucks.
Watch it on Disney Plus whenever that decides to come out. It's probably going to come out mid-August, maybe early September.
I would think soon. That one they're gonna get rid of quick.
They gotta milk it as much as they can. Because I was surprised Doctor Strange was already out on Disney Plus.
Same here, and I want to watch that again.
Oh yeah, I watched it. God, Jesus, four times, and it's funny because I watched it on my way to New Mexico, and I watched it when I got to New Mexico because I had to finish it, and then when we were driving to LA, I had it playing on my phone, but I was just listening to it. Because everyone's great. They're all passed out in the car, so I'm like, let me. I'm tired of listening to music. Let me do this. Of course, I have it on my phone. I'm listening to it. Everyone's like, "Oh, are you watching that?" I'm listening to Doctor Strange, trying to pass this slow ass truck. I mean, yeah. No, it was cool.
You guys aren't helping.
Yeah, you guys aren't helping because I'm falling asleep here. No, it was definitely good, and I'm glad Disney Plus for you guys, who don't have Disney Plus. You guys got to get it.
Yeah, man. That's one monthly payment I don't mind, and not that we're sponsored or anything, but that Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus bundle is one of the best packages right now, I think, because all three have great content. Yeah. And just off topic real quick, if you haven't seen Captain yet on ESPN Plus, it's amazing, in my opinion.
Which one's that?
It's basically the Derek Jeter's version of The Last Dance.
That's right. Yeah. Someone told me about that.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Maybe it might be something we could talk about on the podcast. I think it's 4 episodes out right now. 5th one coming out on Thursday, and it's basically about his career with the Yankees from 94 to whatever 2000s, but follows his career, but also a lot of the classic Yankee series, World Series and stuff. Really, really good and really well done. So. Okay. Off topic, but yeah, if you get a chance, check that out. I think you'll appreciate it. We're
doing that. I would like to recommend a movie. It's not on Hulu or Disney Plus, but it is on Netflix, and the movie's called Hustle, and it's with Adam Sandler. And if you haven't seen Adam Sandler in a serious role, you got to watch Hustle, because he plays a basketball recruiter, and he's so serious in this movie that in the back of your head, you forget this is Happy Gilmore. This is all this character. But it's a good movie if you're into basketball or you want to get into basketball, or even if you just want to watch something uplifting, watch this movie. This is a good movie.
All right, cool. Check it out. Those are our sleepers, guys.
Sleepers, yes. Sleepers. We won't talk about it, just watch it. Just watch it.
Just watch.
But this has been fun. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for jumping on. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, thank you for watching. Again, we're available on all podcast platforms. And the next time we're on, we'll talk about something that we'll talk about. We don't know what we'll talk about yet.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a review, because I think this is the thing that we're doing right now. We're watching stuff and we're reviewing it. But if there's anything else you guys want us to talk about, reach out to us. Let us know. You got Joe's Instagram account. You got my Instagram account. You got the Ordinary Joe's Instagram account. Reach out to us. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about. And if it's a movie that we'll watch, that we will say we'll watch, and we'll review it. But if it's like, hey, can you guys review the new Pretty Little Liars? No.
Sorry.
No, I'm going to get stuck watching it because it's going to be on in the living room. And when something's on in the living room, you're like, I'm not watching this. Why is that person doing that?
Yeah, same here. Yeah, same here. I've watched Bridgerton, even though I didn't want to watch Bridgerton, and we will not be doing a podcast about Bridgerton, FYI.
It's don't ask. Sad because I bet you me and Joe can do the first 2 episodes of Bridgerton, but we're not going to. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but we're not going to do it. No. If you guys want to do that, I'll give you guys the link and the setup of how to create your own podcast.
Yeah, and we'll support you guys. We'll like and we'll share, we'll comment. We're just not going to watch Bridgerton.
We're not going to watch it. No, we're not going to talk about Bridgerton.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because we don't watch it. It's just on.
We're just absorbing it. We don't have a choice.
It's how they feel when we watch football. We're not watching the game, but it's there.
Right. They don't know who's winning, but they know who Tom Brady is.
Yeah. That's sad when you actually know like the main character in Bridgerton. Anyways, this we're steering the wrong way here. Oh man. But you know what's funny? I bet you if we talked about that though, it'll be a lot better than talking about Thor Love and Thunder.
It would probably be the most views of any of our videos if we did a podcast about Bridgerton, I bet.
Someone's going to be like, I challenge you guys to talk about Bridgerton. No. No, that's a different show that you guys have to watch on Instagram. That's someone else's show. That's not my show. So, but until next time, guys, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for jumping on. We are the Ordinary Joes.
Peace.
See ya.
You're listening to the Ordinary Joes podcast.